Oh, goodness, goodness. All right, ladies. Hey, Catherine. Good to see you today.
Thank you. Good to see you, ladies.
All right. Well, we're going to do a good old-fashioned check-in on how we did yesterday. So the check-in is the scale of 1 to 5 on how you did yesterday. But I also want to give you a chance to elaborate on anything that you took away from yesterday and you gave thought to, because I know that we like to talk around things on the mindset and how we feel about things. And so if you have something that you want to just elaborate on, feel free to share that. So Irma, why don't we have you go first?
On a scale of 1 to 5 yesterday, I actually did a 5.
All right.
Yep, I did a 5. I did a 6 because I did a 1 mile walk. So, and it's funny. I mean, today I put on the title for today, Post Valentine Reflection, right?
Yeah.
I think, and I didn't have any sweet. We didn't go out to dinner. We might go out. We were supposed to go out today, but I don't think my daughter wants to go. So we might go to lunch tomorrow because I gotta go get the car service.
Yeah.
So I did cook one of his favorite meals, fried fish, while I had air fried fish. So it was good. So good day. I'm still working on what do I see when I look in the mirror, or as the question was posed to Lord, show me what you see in me, and what do you have for me?
Yeah,
that's the question.
it's good. Good. All right, so let's go with Peggy.
Yesterday was a 4 for me. I didn't have my water. I really messed up on my water. I didn't have enough water.
Okay.
My takeaway yesterday for us to help me for yesterday was the pickles. So I had the pickle chips and I put some in like a little cup. And every time I wanted something sweet or I wanted to eat, I ate a pickle chip. And that just like took it out of my mind. And I don't know, it just like really neutralized myself to where I was calm and more in control. So I might have to go to Publix if they have buy one, get one free pickle. and eat pickles. But yeah, that really helped.
Good. Yeah, the pinch of salt, the pickles, they all work. And this is just good old fashioned negative reinforcement. You know, you hear about all these psychological terms and like positive reinforcement and behavior modification and all that. And that's exactly what this is. It's just telling your brain that, hey, you may be thinking this, but I'm actually the boss of you and I'm going to make the decision. And so you may be saying that you want sugar, but that's not what you're going to get. And I'm not going to reward that. I'm not going to reward that. I'm going to do something else. And so if you do that long enough and consistently, it's eventually your brain is going to stop asking for sugar, you know. It'll come up in other ways, but that pervasive thought like, oh my gosh, I have to have something sweet, right? It will just break the connection between your brain and your mouth.
Because my mind kept going to like, why don't you make some peanut butter cookies? I'm like, no.
Right.
From. I'm like, no. But yeah, I'm gonna do the pickle things.
So I hear victory in the background there.
Yes.
All right. So Lydia, I know that you're in the car. Do you want to check in for yesterday, for how you did yesterday?
So how poorly I did yesterday. Um, just being real.
Yeah,
I had chocolate yesterday, so it's Valentine's Day. So I had chocolate yesterday, and oh, am I feeling it today? So, and
What's
not
the
in a good
impact?
way. So, I mean, it didn't show up on the scale, but man, my joints are yelling at me. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and remember yesterday we were talking about cross-reactive foods and allergies
yeah,
and things like that. We know that when we're doing the detox and when we're coming out of that, we're starting to add foods back in, we can feel it in our bodies. And it's not a figment of your imagination.
oh, I know it's not.
Yeah,
It's definitely letting me know today.
yeah. Gotcha. I mean, it's amazing. What we put in our body will also determine how quickly we deteriorate and how quickly we age. So
Yeah,
yeah, if you want to really tap into the fountain of youth, you need two things. First of all, you need God and eternal life. And then the second thing is you need to be mindful of what you put in your body because it will either preserve you or it will cause you to age rapidly. We've talked about this before, how, you can eat sugar and you can see it the next day in your skin and your face because you get like you start to get the little lines showing up on your face. Sugar really does age. Our bodies don't take it well at all.
yeah. If I have too much chocolate, 'cause usually I eat dark chocolate. I don't
Mhm.
usually tend to do milk, um, but then I'll have different blemishes.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I have one on my nose this morning. I'm like, okay, fine, be that way. That was just the extra bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. At least it was small, so
Right. All righty. So let's go ahead and check in with Catherine.
Well, ladies, I did really well until the evening. And as I reflect on what in the world happened, it was actually an emotional reaction. I haven't had one of those in a while. And I was kind of being pushed about an issue, and I was like, how sometimes another person wants to discuss an issue and you're like, hey, okay, I just can't even talk about that right now. But this person kept pushing. And so I became frustrated and I was in the middle of cutting brownies. Before I knew it, I had shoved brownies in my mouth. And I said, wait a minute, we just talked about this today. This is the sneaky part. How did that happen? That was really sneaky. And I will tell you, I mean, afterwards, I just was like, I just wanted to go to the bathroom and kind of, stick my finger down my throat. But because I'm not even sure, honestly, how many I ate. I don't even know. It was such a blur in the moment. But I was like, stop. So, but I wanted to share that because, like I said, I haven't had one of those emotional kind of like knee-jerk reactions in a while. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So I had suffered those consequences afterwards. But anyway, but I guess I'm just grateful that I can still be in control, today. And I was able to stop and go, no, no, no. But it just didn't feel good in the moment. So I kind of I can relate to you, Irma, with the Krispy Kreme. I was like, no, I just did that with brownies. We just, we just talked about it. But anyway, that was my experience. But so today's a better day for sure already.
All right. Well, we're receiving that, and you are giving me a good segue into just a little blurb I wanted to share with you all. I mean, we know the difference between right and wrong. We know. And many times we just choose to override it. And I want to just bring out that word choose, because we do live in choice in every single thing that we do. And I would challenge us to say that we are our biggest competitor. We're our biggest enemy, even more so than, the enemy himself. We get in our own way. And we also know that we have pre-existing conditions. I mean, we've been trained in the way that we go. And it's challenging to shift that, because we've made those neural pathways. We talk about brain science about this all the time, but I want to bring up a concept that we talk about from time to time, and it's food fighter math. So food fighter math, people say that math never lies. Well, I'm going to tell you that in itself is, math never lies. I don't know if that's actually a true statement. We're going to talk about food fighter math, though, because 1 + 1 does not always equal 2. Now, what do I mean? I mean, 1 + 1 can actually equal 1,000. So, like, if you're eating a brownie, it doesn't necessarily equal 1. It can equal like 360 or 500 calories. So you see, this is food fighter math, and we have to be aware of what happens. So if you've got temptation plus you plus Dairy Queen, that does not equal 3. Matter of fact, when you go to Dairy Queen and you have a peanut butter parfait, that's 1,100 calories. 1,100. You could have you plus 5 friends at a bar with 5 margaritas, and you could have too much to drink and you'd have too many calories. So we've really got to think about the food fighter math. And let me make this real for you. How many of us, when we are choosing to jump off plan, we might say, oh, I'm just going to have this one little old piece of candy, right? Well, that one little piece of candy, we try to minimize it, right? It's just one. But what is the overall impact of that? What does that equate to? I'll use Catherine's example of brownies. If I say, oh, I'm just going to have one brownie, or I'm going to have 2 brownies, typically what we're not thinking about is what is the impact, the caloric impact, but also the impact that it has to our stomach, especially if we've been detoxing and eating clean, and suddenly we put something like that in our bodies. I mean, it could cause you to have 30 minutes in the bathroom, right? So you're actually subtracting from your life and the efficiency of your life. So I'm wondering if anybody relates to this. Anybody, can you see where food fighter math it's an important concept to grab, because we will trick ourselves. We'll say, oh, I just had one yeast roll. Well, what happens if you have an allergy to yeast? I know for me, I instantly get inflammation, right? And I blow up, and that is just the truth. My fingers swell, my rings get tight, my shoes get tight, all of that. What we put in our body has some kind of result. It has some kind of numerical outcome, so to speak. So I want to open it up for thoughts or comments about this. Do you ever see it happening in your life where you try to rationalize or minimize the impact of having something?
Yes. Even when I have like a protein bar, I minimize. I'm like, it's only 150 calories, and it has 20 grams of protein, and I need that protein. So
Yeah.
and it doesn't have, so it says, no added sugar, but so yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my husband does protein bars all the time, and they're loaded with carbs and sugar, and he keeps eating them. Like those, if you're thinking that you're eating those for the protein, you're actually canceling out your entire goal because of what you're putting in your body. So, um, protein bars are a great example of that. Anybody else have any thoughts or comments?
I mean,
I've got
usually I know it almost immediately after I've eaten something that it's like, that was a bad choice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just because I'm so sensitive to things, and especially to me now, being off so many things now, it's like, oh, like today, I just feel so sick to my stomach because of having chocolate yesterday. So
Well,
I got
and
all this phlegm in my throat and,
yes,
all the fun stuff.
that brings up a very important thing for us to remember, that even if a label says, only 150 calories or whatever, the plan that we have in Fit and Focused, it's about the chemicals. It's about the chemical reactions. And so if we just even look in science, right? I mean, you put certain chemicals together and it doesn't work well. I mean, you remember like in sixth grade when you had to make the volcano and you mixed baking soda and vinegar together? Those two ingredients, what happened?
Mhm.
You have like this giant explosion. It had a chemical reaction. Well, I want you to imagine that happening in our bodies. That when you put certain chemicals in your body, it has an exponential impact. And what we see is sugar in particular is very volatile. It's volatile. It's sugar mixed with anything is typically going to give us, it's going to give us problems. So let's see. By the way, Carol is checking in by text. She's having technical difficulties. She's given herself a 4. She's finally increased her water, and she had a dark chocolate yesterday. So thank you, Carol, for checking in. All right. Well, I'm also an optimist and I like to be positive too. So Food Fighter math can also have positive benefits. And so on the positive side, I always like to say U plus God equals infinite number of possibilities. When you feel like you can't do it yourself, when you're making choices that are not ideal for you and you know that you want to have a better equation and a better result in your life, the obvious thing to do is just go to God. This is something that I've really learned to do, is to rely on God and just saying, Lord, I know that you're my source and I don't want to be making these decisions. I don't want to be giving in to sugar, or I don't want to be giving in to whatever it is that is calling my name. God wants us to call it. He wants us to rely on him. And it's amazing how he will give you the strength. Now, I'm going to tell you that I've had times where I've said, Lord, help me. I don't want Oreos, or I don't want to be tempted by whatever my husband has brought home from the store. I don't want to be tempted. And the Lord has actually taken away that physical temptation. But my mind is still saying, yeah, but you could still have those Oreos if you wanted, right? So God will he will help us to not desire that thing, but our own habits and our own brain wiring will lead us right back to it, even though we're not even craving it. We've just been eating it out of habit. So we just have to be mindful of that. So that's what I want you to think about over the next 24 hours. See where Food Fighter Math is showing up for you. And we'll come back and talk about it again. All right, that's all I have for today, ladies. Going to give you
All
back
right.
5 minutes of your time.
Mhm.
All right. Have a good one.
Okay,
Thank you.
all
Goodbye.
right, bye.
Bye.